As the head of household, do you know how much money you have? Isn't that something that as that you see Teresa every day when you talk to business owners? Why is that important to make sure that they have a session plan, business plan, and that you have this ongoing conversation every day about finance?
You know, it's and working with a lot of Latinos, right? It's taboo to speak about certain topics. You know, you never talk about it. You just keep working and working. But you know, one of the things that I tell my businesses owners is that the reason it's really important to sit down with a business advisor is just when anyone wants to go into a sport, right? What is the first thing you do? You have to do a physical, right? You want to make sure that you're going to be in good health, right, to make it to the end. And what are the things you need to work on? So on the business side is making sure you have a good business advisor that can help you, right? Someone that you can trust, that you can be open, right? Because we know there's the right set of books that we have here because we're not reporting all the income, and it's what we tell them, or sometimes we get advised by those people that prepare taxes because we tell them I don't want to pay a lot of taxes. And they tell them, well, don't report, right? And you put credit card sales, and don't do this, and you don't have the right advice. But when you go with someone, right, it helps you to be open with that person and really see your vision of your business. So we talk about the different chambers, the SBDCs, the scores, you know, a lot of programs, the MBTA, the Women's Business Centers, and so on and so on. That if you open up with those business advisors, they can actually help you guide your business plan that is going to basically be the roadmap to your success. So what revenue do you need to be at? If you list all, it's almost working backwards. What are the expenses, you know, on your business? Knowing that you need to have a good CPA. What is the cost of a good CPA? Do you need to visit them on a monthly basis, quarterly basis? Obviously, monthly basis is what we always advise, because that's going to tell you what you need to do the following month. How many employees do you need to generate those revenues? 22 years, 25 years, I've never seen bad projections, ever, right? As lenders, we never see bad projections. But when they need to make their payments, they're going to give you the story of how they're going to make it. But we know that. We know it's like you keep increasing your revenue, but your expenses are exactly the same. If your cost of goods are the same, your employees are the same, everything exactly the same, so we already know they're not good projections. So how do we tell them in a way, and we advise them that as a lender, right? Because they obviously, of course, they want to lend any money. But who are the business advisors that you can reach out to and talk to them, and they can open your eyes in a way that you're being educated, not be that we're crushing your dreams of being the business owner or growing your business, but in a way that it's a educational piece. If I put it back on the doing a physical exam, is that you need to lose weight, you need to cut back on things, right? You need to start exercising because it's for your own good. You know, we're basically doing everything that we're telling you everything that you need to do for your own good, for the health of your business, right? Not because we don't want to lend you money. As lenders, we want to deploy capital. That's our goal. We don't deploy capital, we're our business. But we obviously need to do it with the businesses that we know they're going to be able to repay back. And if your financials do not show that, if you don't show it based on the interview that we do with you, we're not going to have the confidence to lend you the money that you need. So I think it's really having that person on your side, you know, that you can open up and confide everything that your business is and needs to be able to prepare you for the success.
And we do have a finance expert here with us, a financial expert with Hesy as financial advisor. What is the number one recommendation that you give to your clients?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you for having me. And there's a lot of information that I could give, but I like to go back to the basics to avoid losses. A lot of people, they want to start their business just because, oh, he's doing good. I want to do the same thing. And that's what happened. Your heart is not there. So the first thing, recommendation, right, for business owners, and being a bank manager that was with JP Morgan Chase, I had a lot of people commenting, so yes, I want to do this because my friend told me, and their heart is not really into that business. So number one recommendation, find your passion. Something that you could really, really do the rest of your life. And if you didn't have any money issues, if you're well, you don't need to work, do it because you really feel it in your heart, so you can focus all your energy there. And a lot of business owners, they just focus on, I want to make money, I want to do this, but they don't really have a business plan. As Teresa was saying, that's a living document. You need to start writing your business idea, justify it, your mission, your vision, and everything. Unfortunately, we live in a world with a lot of informal businesses because of the economy, because of everything. But find your passion, really start a business plan that you're going to be touching at least every month. I always tell my clients, what has changed? The economy, what happened in Ukraine, that changed everything. So you gotta be always revisiting your goals, what is what you want to accomplish, because most of the time business owners they don't really know what they want, where do they want to go. I'm just selling. They just focus and they become operators. You're supposed to oversee what's going on in order for you to grow. So if you ask me one thing, it's the one. I said two, but it's the passion and business plan. But don't do it because Teresa is doing well. I want to do the same thing. Do it because you really, really feel like your heart.
Because there is a lot of work that goes into building and starting and growing your business. You want to make sure that it's where your heart is and your effort is going to be placed into. So in terms of resources, there is a lot out there. Like it was mentioned before, make sure that you know your financials, but also know where to find that access to capital. There are grants and there are also traditional banking as well as other options as credit unions and CDFIs. Jose, can you explain to us what is a credit union and how do businesses take advantage of the resources?
Credit unions. Credit unions are nonprofit financial institutions. Member-owned. What does that mean? Every customer is a member. There are no shareholders. There isn't a stock price or targets I need to meet. I just need to provide the benefits of membership to my owners. And how do we do that? We do that because we're able to offer lower loan rates and higher deposit rates. That's how we return the profits of the credit union back to the membership. Credit unions are really not well known. There's a lot, even I asked my mother today, they'll say credit union, you have to belong to a union. Not true at all. Many credit unions are community-based, employer-based. Okay, so there are many, if you go to mymoneyfurther.com, you can put in your zip code and find a credit union near you throughout the country. There are 225 credit unions in the state of Illinois, 5,100 nationwide. We provide the same services as banks. Loans for retail, mortgages, credit cards. Our average credit card rate at my credit union is 8.95%. But go home and look at your statement today, and you'll see a 2 in front of that number. Okay, yeah. It's a higher rate. So don't, when you're looking for credit, a lot of folks like the path of least resistance. Okay, you'll get an email from a alternative bank, for example, and they make it very easy. But research. And going back to what I said earlier, if you understand your power, your credit score, treat your credit score like it's money, because it is money. Yeah. The higher your credit score, the lower your cost of borrowing. The lower your credit score, the higher cost. It's going to be more expensive for credit. So credit unions are a good alternative. My credit union, nwccu.com, Northwest Community Credit Union, but I know most of you are not from Chicago. Yourmoneyfurther.com will find a credit union near you. And it's a good alternative, a good option, and you can compare pricing and what's important to you.
And so going back, financials is important because not only helps you run your business and grow your business, but also take advantage of emergency programs or the different programs and grants that are available out there. Teresa, can you explain a little bit about those programs that sometimes come into and what do people need to do to be able to access those at a CDFI?
As a CDFI, we're always looking for the needs of the communities. And we have to go to our politicians and ask them what we, not only to them, but also to maybe some banks and saying, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with small businesses. So we get up here, we do beautiful presentations, but when it comes down to it, right, it's not accessible. The funds are not there. As CDFIs, we're saying, let us do the work they cannot do because you're regulated, right? And we understand there's always rules that we have to follow. But as a CDFI, we have more flexibility. We're just the conduit to be able to provide services. Somebody's got to say, I want CPLC, Chicanos for la Causa, Préstamos, to be able to, deliver grants. And they tell us, who do they want those grants to be given to, right? We obviously have a lot of input, but at the end of the day, they tell us, I want you to provide an example in North Las Vegas. They have some CDBG dollars, some ARPA funds, and they wanted to provide grants for businesses that we were comparing their 2019 before pandemic numbers to 2020 numbers. And we were able to provide grants up to $25,000 that was for operational. So it could go either help them become current or 2 months of operating expenses. And again, they said that's what they wanted, and we were able to provide grants. Unfortunately, when you don't have your financials, when you're not reporting, you don't have the payroll, you're not putting everything in there, and we look at tax returns, people were upset because they were not getting the maximum of those grants. When we're looking at debt, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter a CDFI, a credit union, a private lender, they want to be able to see, or we want to be able to see that you're going to be able to repay it. There can be flexibility on credit scores. Maybe the banks are looking at anything over, 640 delinquencies ever, right, for the past 3 years. We can mitigate, tell the story what happened. We look at your equity injection, right? Lenders don't want to do 100%. If banks are looking at 20%, maybe we say, okay, 10% of your total project. So there's more flexibilities on the guidelines of a financial institution versus a CDFI. Bottom line, though, that what they look for and what we look for is the repayment. And that's where the business plan comes in, your story, how well you know your business, how well you know your customers, how well you know your providers. It's going to tell the story, right? And that's going to give us the comfort to be able to relent or to lend to your business. And when I say relent, is because maybe they already had a loan from somebody else, and we're not going to come in and fill that gap because we learn along the way, and we are able to identify what are the things or mistakes that we made in the past that now they're going to be corrected, and it's going to improve our financials. Maybe there were losses, right? We didn't have losses in 2020, 2021, but we were able to pivot our business. Now we do more online, right? I was able to get a good marketing person. I'm going to increase my sales, and it's starting to look at their sales are increasing. So we rely on the projections. We can lend versus maybe a financial institution, traditional financial institution is not willing to take that risk. So that is the difference between, again, a financial institution versus a CDFI. We look for resources that are needed in our communities to be able to assist with capital as well as coaching and guidance with our technical assistance programs.
So in addition to loans and those resources available to businesses are grants. Teresa mentioned a little bit about that. Can you explain, Hesy, what is a grant and how can business have access to that funding?
Yeah, absolutely. As my experience, I can say that the funds are there. I remember a client that, thanks to the help of a chamber, by the way, was able to get a contract to do all the haircut in jail. So you can imagine. And the main message here is that the funds are there, but we are not ready to ask for it. And just like you have to know your client, you know your client, you have to know your business. As simple as when I ask, how much money do you make? Can you prove it right now? How can you prove to me how much money you make? As simple as that. So, unfortunately, they are not ready for it. This is how much money I make. This is my profit. This is what it is. And that's why it's so important for you to have your accountant, your lawyer in case you get in trouble, your financial advisor, of course. You need to have a team to work for you, looking for your best interest. And your business needs to be ready today as if you want to sell it tomorrow. What do I mean with that? What if you, an angel investor, right? What if you have somebody that is interested in your idea? I want to buy your business. What are you going to do there? Wait a second. The first thing you need to prepare a deck, with a presentation. Why? What's the value of my business? Why is so important and interesting that you want to buy it from me? And you have to know the market value of your business. Because I want your business, but if you have no idea how much your business is valued at marketplace, you might take a big loss. So to your point, the funds, the investors are there, grants from the government. You need to have also a good relationship with the SBA, obviously. Of course, we have alternative lenders, but it's just huge, the amount of money that are there. And also a local government that actually have funds to give to minorities. Look for the certification. I know that if you're a woman that owns your business, 51%, you can get a certification, and then you can get funds that are especially for a woman, for example. People that don't know that. So obviously, you need to know your client, you need to know your product as well. I go back to, why is your client competitive? A lot of clients that actually don't take the time to do to study the market. So why do you want to open the same business than the block next to you? Take the time, do the focus group. Companies that actually give money to get feedback, right? How can I improve my product? And don't stay there. I have also clients that just want to focus on one thing. Okay, so why don't you open a new line of business? Let's say you're selling shoes. I go back to the example of private set, the shoes. Okay, so what about the purses? What about the nice jewelry? So have a vision for at least 20 years. And very important, have a succession plan. What do I mean with that? What if something happens to you tomorrow? Who's going to take care of your business? Very common. Oh, yeah, she's my partner, but actually, she's not on the articles of incorporation, for example. And that's every time. It's not up to date. So have your papers in order, have your business plan, have your deck, and go out there because funds are there.
If I can just elaborate on that.
Yes, please.
Preparedness. Have a digital copy of all of these documents. When you make it easy for the lender will see that you're organized. And things flow a lot simpler. There isn't that back and forth. You've already set the story because you know it. You need to make it easy for the lender. The easier you make it, it improves the likelihood of credit going through quickly and obtaining what you need.
And I want to add to, we have a lot of women here, but, for the ones who are not so young, remember the days of no GPS, right? We were looking for an address, we were giving directions initially, or they gave us this, where to go, right? But what happened when you were lost, you would stop and ask questions. Ask for directions over and over again until you got to your final destination. And maybe the first person that gave you directions gave you the long route, because that's all they knew. But there's nothing wrong with, going to different places and asking, how do I get there? How can you help me? What resources? Maybe they come to me and I'm only limited to certain resources. But if they go to a chamber, if they go to the SBDC, they will have more resources available for your business. More grants, more loan opportunities, connections. So, open, getting out of the day-to-day and giving yourself the opportunity to do the networking events, to look for information. what are the things that you're not doing now that you should be doing? And our president still always leaves a meeting by asking someone, what is the one thing that I should be asking that I didn't ask? And what is the person that I should know that I will know that is gonna make me successful? So, if you leave a meeting with always asking that information, keep in mind that you just met one person and that person's gonna connect you to another person, and you're gonna be able to build your network, which is very, very important. You never know who's gonna be the one that is either gonna buy your business or take your business to the next level. And then along the way, not everybody wants to become a business owner. What skill sets are you gonna meet along the way that is gonna make your business more successful? What are the things what employee could be a key employee? Because we don't know it all that is gonna get you to that level. So, being open and being out of that shell of everyday working, building that gadget, right? It's gonna be key to continue to build our business.
So as we reflect back on the height of the pandemic, and then we're looking at the constant road to recovery, Jose, can you share a success story? What are the businesses that continue to thrive or even were more successful during the pandemic as we're looking ahead?
Yeah, restaurants. So I mean, talked about this a little bit, the PPP program. If that PPP program was not available to restaurants, we had many restaurants close, no question. But we had many that survived and are thriving. And I've heard many times, hey, if PPP was not available to me, I would have to let my employees go. And eventually close the shop. So the PPP program was a key ingredient to helping restaurants, but small businesses in general, to survive and provide that cushion. Now, we're in the recovery stage. Restaurants are thriving. We're all back celebrating Cinco de Mayo, right? I was at a restaurant last night, it was packed. So things are normalizing, but you still have to look forward because having your strategy, your plans, do we all think this is the last pandemic? Probably not. What's happening today? Interest rates are going up. Cost of borrowing is going up. We just have to be prepared. And those programs are going to help you. SBA is an excellent program to help you lower cost of borrowing. If you're here in Illinois, there's Advantage Illinois. I would have not known that program if the Illinois Hispanic Chambers, the team there, didn't refer that program to us. It's a very similar program to SBA. It's a way to lower your cost of borrowing. Find out what's free or close to free before you seek normal financing.
So because of you, he went to Washington, right? He's responsible that you went to Washington.
As we're looking at the success stories, then what is one that sticks out for you, Teresa, as those businesses that put a lot of effort, and especially as we're looking at the road to recovery, even with the interest going up right now and then post-pandemic?
Obviously, there was a lot of businesses that were super impacted, and others that took advantage of the resources that were available. I'll speak to one just because they were in the office last week and she wanted to come in personally thank. It's a retail, considered non-essential Western wear store, and she called one of our other agencies and looking for a grant, and they didn't have any grants. So we put her in the PPP, very small amount because again they didn't have all the payroll and very, very small amount that they were able to secure. But at that time, we also had where the SBA was doing 6 months of your first SBA loan. Or anybody that had an SBA loan, they were basically making 6 months of payments, regardless. Right? If you had an SBA loan, 7A, 504, micro loan, they were making 6 months payments. And anybody that applied for a loan and got approved They were making 6 months. She needed, again, a small amount, so we would structure, which is the SBA allowed, 6 months structure payment. So basically, she got a grant, as long as they were able to demonstrate that they could be paid on the structure, right? If we did 6 months, whatever the amount, they were able to get that service. So that was the second grant that she received. But the most important thing besides the capital is the fact that we put her in line with the business advisor. She was just all indoor traffic, that's all her business was, small business. But our business advisor helped her to get her business online. And at first, you know, she said, Teresa, I'll be really honest, when Noé calls me and he says he's gonna work with me, I says, I've been in business for 30 years. What are you gonna teach me that I don't know about my business? But she said she went home and she was talking to her husband. She's like, what do we got to lose? We don't see any customers. We can't see family. We're sitting here by ourselves. We might as well put this time to use. And I'm talking to, you know, they're about, you know, in their late 60s, so it's not someone very young, you know, to be in the business 30 years, right? And she said, Teresa, I've learned how to put my post because, again, part of it is that they didn't do it for me. They taught me how to do it. When he's telling me, you know, take pictures of the outside of your store, take pictures of your store, let's reposition your inventory, right? What are the things that you sell most or gives you your highest profit margin, right? Let's put those at the back of the store. That means people want to walk your whole store before they just pick up what they come in for, the most common things they sell. The piece of that, she said she was very thankful, not only for the money, but for the education that she received. And because now she's able to do that from home. And her sales are better, were better for 2020 and 2021 than before the pandemic. So again, not only the grants, but again, now she's able to sell no matter where, and they've learned how to, you know, be more competitive. So they opened another store across her way. She was Teresa, instead of feeling threatened, I welcome that competition because I know I'm gonna do better because people tend to go to different places before they make the purchase. So I know that's gonna be an advantage to me. And this just happened last week, that conversation. So again, she felt that we were going really out of her way just for her. And I said, no, we do this for everyone. But not everyone welcomes our suggestions and recommendations. I didn't know about my business, right? If it wasn't because what do we have to lose? We don't see family, we don't have any customers, we have nothing to do, might as well do something with our time. They were to take advantage of that. So that was, again, very rewarding for her to come in and just say thank you for that.
That's amazing. Hesy, as Mexicans and Americans, we're in a very unique position, and that we should leverage that knowledge, that power, growing power that we have in the U.S. How do you see us in the future as we're looking at the road to recovery?
Yes, well, definitely there is a lot of work to do. One thing that we all need to make sure we have to continue growing. If you don't have right now, you need to have a good mentor. Who has a mentor right now? I'm curious. Raise your hand, please. Just raise your hands. If you don't have a mentor, you need to find one. Somebody that you look up to and tell them, hey, by the way, can I still for 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever they can give you? You need to have a mentor, you need to have a coach, and a sponsor. Why a sponsor? Because you're ready, you have the skills, but just like in soccer, right? You have your mentor, that is not necessarily your coach. You have the coach that is with you every day, right? But what if you want to go to another team? What do you need? Sponsorship, right? Do you want to grow and continue following your dream and make a difference in your community? Start local. If I ask you right now, do you actually know your councilman or woman where you live? Do you know who they are? Raise your hand, please. Just a few hands. So these are, don't get me wrong, right? These are recommendations. Knock at the door. Hey, by the way, it's me. How are you? I would like to learn more about what you're doing right here, locally, in my zip code, my district, right? Know who they are. Get to work with them a little bit. Just observe them. Because you can't really manage something if you can't measure. I'm sure you guys heard this before. Get to know them so you can see what things that they have. If they don't have good thoughts, organize yourself. Remember what I talked to you about your passion. What is it you really enjoy? Maybe you like cars, sport cars. You know what? Find people with the same hobby and get together. Find something in common. Once you're together, then you can make a difference and make a plan. And then instead of you knocking at the door of your councilman, you can get another 10 people with you, with the same goal, with the same dreams. That is what I'm saying.
And advocacy is important. To be able to understand what resources you have locally. When programs like PPP come into your area and they trickle down from the federal government to state and then local agencies that have those additional funding that comes back. So if you know your elected officials, if you have access, that also is another opportunity for advocate for others to make sure that funding comes down to your neighborhood, come down to your street, and also as a business owner to be able to have access to that funding when it's readily available. So thank you to everybody that's here today. We're open for questions in case anyone has any.
And those who are doing the credit union, are there active coalitions across the country that are educating the Latinx community on credit union? So I'm a member of a credit union, but at the same time, it's not growing, and so I'm talking to the board there at the credit union. Say, hey, pónganse al día y hagan algo, no? Right. So, are there coalitions across the country that are doing things to maybe promote them as cooperativas? Because you know, credit unions sometimes in Latin America son cooperativas, no? Gente que se junta y traen los recursos y pones todos los huevitos y tú pones el otro y hacemos un, you know, right? Are there things happening at the national level that are educating people?
If I may, so in credit unions, there's a national association, Credit Union National Association, or CUNA, that is actively trying to promote credit unions in the Latino communities. In the state of Illinois, we have the Illinois Credit Union League, and we work with partner organizations as well. Partner with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, for example. So any member of the chamber can become a member of the credit union. And we're trying to educate and open up our products and services to the Latino community. The challenging part is converting documentation to Spanish or any language, actually. That is our challenge, and we need to work harder to make sure that we can articulate our products and services to communities.
Thanks.
Yes, this question is for Teresa. Do you service all 50 states or just certain states in particular?
Right now, we're limited to 5 states, but we are submitting for national. So we're looking forward being a national.
What states are those, if you don't mind me asking?
We have Nevada, California, Arizona, Texas, and New Mexico.
We just got to partner with that. We just talked about.
So we are obviously the PPP, allow us to just work the whole country, but for small business are going to be outside of.
So it looks like we're gonna give you 10 minutes for.
We
have 10 more minutes. I thought we were done.
I would like to add something.
Yes,
When it comes to, I have to say, culturally, we have the cash flows. But obviously, in our countries, si no tienes dinero, olvídate. Don't forget the credit. Face that. So obviously, it's another story. So we need to start talking, especially with the more mature business owners, they just refuse to get access to but here, as business owners, we need to have your safety net. We need to have your backup. We need to have your line of credit because if something happens, that's it. A lot of business owners, unfortunately, they had to do Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right? And that's so sad because not only they didn't have the information, but they also didn't know that I could have a line of credit. I could get access to the PPP. I could get in touch with you guys, for example, or just apply for a grant, as simple as it sounds. So information is the key. And I was just talking to a couple of colleagues I did about the importance of financial literacy. I have 3 kids, 11, 8, and 5. They already know about the cost of living. They already know how much is a gallon of milk. They already know if you don't have these conversations at your home, locally obviously, but at your home, to start having those conversations with your kids. Only 21 states in the US have actually approved the legislation of have financial education classes in high school. And I know this is another one, and I asked the congressman, and he said he was going to look into that. The reason why was Florida, actually. So, but high school to me, honestly, is a little too late. You need to start from pre-K to start talking about money. If you want economic progress, you need to have these conversations about money. Have family meetings. This is our budget. This is how much money we get as a family. This is how much money we spend. Cut the cable. You're on Netflix all day. Why are you paying $250 a month? You don't really need that. So budgeting is super important. Believe in credit because that's the way this country functions. If you want to grow, you need to go into that and have those maybe uncomfortable conversations about how you safety net.
If I may just add, it's okay to talk about money. Many people are afraid. There's probably the better word. And know that we've all been there. Understanding yourself, your financial power is important. And don't be afraid to reach out to others, the financial advisor, your chambers. There are many people out there willing to help. You ask for it. You have to ask. If you don't ask, we don't know. And then one last thing, going back to the mentors. I know folks raise their hands. For the students here or online, find a mentor. You should be connecting with everybody here through LinkedIn. We're all resourceful. Find that mentor and work with that person to guide you. Because it is a challenging time. It's more difficult. And navigating through that, from a student perspective, you'll think, why did I go to school? You went to school to build yourself, educate yourself, and be a leader.
As a mentor, looking for a mentor, when I was interviewing people to work in a bank, I would get, for example, a nurse asking for a part-time job as a teller. And I would ask her, I would ask, help me understand how being a teller will help you with your career as a nurse. I just need some money right now, so go to the nearest hospital, to your home, you volunteer. They're not hiring via volunteer because they are going to get to know your work ethic. And guess what? When there is an opening, guess who's going to call? Who's going to get that phone call, right? So be present, and you're right. You guys should connect with us. I guess we're here. So if you have any questions, obviously we will try, but look for a mentor coach. And remember, guys,
Sponsor.
you got it.
Do we have one more question, David?
Well, I have 2 questions. One for the audience, and the second one is for Jose. How many of you guys have an account with a credit union? Raise your hand. Jose, can you please tell us how important it is to diversify your lines of credit for your credit score? And please give us a practical example of how we can enter a credit union, start building credit, have access to cheap loans and all that good stuff.
YourMoneyFurther.com is the access to a credit union. You just have to punch in your zip code, and you can then research from there to find the best credit union for those needs. Diversification, like I said earlier, sometimes half of these participants gets to a, and I'll give you an example, to a loan. And the example is, we all bought cars, right?
Yeah.
So when you walk into a dealership and you see that car,
Mhm.
it looks nice, you want to take it home. And the salesperson, their goal is to sell you that car. The finance guy is to finance the deal for you, and just know that the finance guy is not going to give you the best rate possible.
Mhm.
They're going to give you the rate that's going to make them the most money. Okay, and I've seen it many times. It is very important that you spend time and do a little bit of research. When you're buying a home, you're buying a car, whatever it is, because when you go in there, when you go into a dealership or if you're talking to a realtor, you want to know what you can afford. And having that knowledge up front, you take control of the negotiation, right? Just the other day, I looked at a credit for a car loan. 32 credit inquiries on their credit report. Protect your social security number. Do not let anybody run a credit until you're ready. Okay, it's very important. It impacts your credit score. Try to target a credit atomic. You want to be at 750 or higher. 850 is the max, if I remember that correct. 750 is your target. If you're not there, look at your credit card utilization. Okay, pay those down. Restructure your debt. Get it there. That'll get you ready for if you're running a business, you're prepared.
And anyone can have access to their credit report as well.
Yes, that is easily available. I get my credit is monitored every month. I get a report. If someone tries to enter and try to access my credit, I'm gonna know. Don't let anybody run your credit. So,
And one last question in the back.
Yeah, can you guys talk about the importance of having a relationship with the banker or the financial institution to the customer, business or regular? I'll give you an example. If I bought a house recently, because the credit union did the loans, but because my relationship, I was able to shave 10 years out the loan with only $80 a month more. So can you guys touch on that?
I think one of the things that we keep saying over and over, how important relationships are. I think no matter at what level, it's very extremely important. For CDFI, our programs are stepping stones, and we tell everyone, don't get too comfortable. Our rates are going to be higher because we're considered secondary market, right? We're not the first choice. We should not be the first choice. We're the alternative to when the banks say no. But having that relationship with your bank, it always opens more doors to opportunities, right? Because they already know, even if you're not reporting your taxes, if you're reporting all the deposits and you want to apply for a loan, they're going to be able to see your transactions and everything you're doing. But having said that, right, it's always good, as we say, not to keep all your eggs in one basket, right? If this bank said no, it's always good to go with another bank and see who's going to be offering you the best rate and the best programs that they have. Just like everybody else, right? They might have a focus on helping a certain industry, right? They might have more programs available. But again, the relationships are key to no matter what level. But having that financial institution, your CPA and your attorney, right? Those are the main three that we always say that you should always have and get to know, so they can get to know you as well. Because your financial advisor is going to tell you, like, you've been putting so much money in repairs, you got to consider maybe replacing it, and that's going to save you money, right? If you don't see it on a day-to-day because you don't see your financials, your CPA is going to advise you, and then you start planning ahead, and start reaching out to your bank, and if you don't get approved at the moment, right, what are the things that you need to do to get approved? And you're not at the last minute, having to close down operations because your AC unit broke and your it's too hot for your customers to come in, or your delivery truck broke down to where it's no hope to a repair, and you cannot get those deliveries done. So, planning, having the relationships, and it's always very, very important. I think that's kind of been the theme of today, right? That's how important relationships are.
And also feel your gut sometimes. If you ask somebody to dance and they say yes, but then you started dancing and you're like, it doesn't feel right. You just follow the same instinct, because unfortunately in this digital revolution, and also everything is running, everything is transactional. So you want to have somebody that is authentically interested in your well-being. You have a banker, right? So it's a banker and a manager, and then I go to my practice because I really care about the person that I have in front. You know what? Business owner, open your IRA so you can deduct taxes and you can do that your retirement plan, for example. Let's do a 401k for your employees, because for the purpose of retention, you want to have your employees happy because they will leave. And to your point, Jaime, yes, it's very important to have a relationship with your bank, your attorney, your accountant, your advisor, and every mechanic as well. You never know, right?
And then, especially if your credit score is not good to get that new car. So financials are super important, critical. Money is not a bad word. Networking is important and critical personally and also for your business. And get a mentor and protect and build your credit score. Thank you, everybody, for being here.